How do you expand your capacity for change? This episode of The Culture Hack, we have Mark Groves, speaker, author, and human connection specialist, talking about the science behind regulating your nervous system and expanding your capacity for change. You're going to want to check this out. Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Mark Groves, welcome to The Culture Hack. Thanks so much for coming down.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
This is pretty fantastic, and we're using all the new gear. This is the first time with all
This
the
gear
fancy
is
stuff.
baller.
Right? Yeah,
I'm feeling like my voice gets deeper in this stuff. Feeling
right. It's
your
like
radio voice.
it's like the voice of God. I can hear it in my ears. Right?
It does. These headphones are legit.
If you didn't check out the last episode, go check it out. Mark talked all about this idea of taking the leap, and it's pretty cool. I think a lot of people can relate to the golden handcuffs we talked about, and maybe your soul's yearning for more or something different, and the different barriers that come up from that. But we touched on some of the science, but I kind of want to get into some of the gritty details of the mind from a self-proclaimed human behavior nerd. So, we talked about this idea of about the ocean, but you stay in the fish tank and you pretend that you don't. Why do people do that?
And it's so common for people to stay in the familiar life, which
Mhm.
again, it's never about throwing shade to that because, our ability to handle change is moderated by our ability to hold what comes with change.
Mhm.
So for a lot of us, I would say for everybody, the nervous system at first with any form of change uh, codes that as bad, codes it as a possible threat. Even if we're going from, let's say, a chaotic relationship or a chaotic workplace, and we're seeking something with more ease and more peace, that shift can bring a lot, just like moving can
Mm.
bring a lot. You might be moving to a better place, but the very act of holding the capacity for different is challenging for people, especially if we have, things that really impact that are things like sleep. Sleep, really, really high quality sleep allows you to be more adaptable.
Mhm.
But also, by exposing ourselves to more novel experiences, it actually, well, from a relationship perspective, it's really fascinating because what really makes great long-term relationships is that there's constant novelty and adventure. Often we try to seek novelty outside of our relationship.
Mm.
But actually, if we, let's say, every week, instead of having a date night where you do the same thing, which not a problem, but if, let's say, people might be like, this is a little aggressive. So let's say once out of every 4 and you alternate, you do, one person is in charge of planning an adventure that neither have been on. And what it does is you associate your partner with novelty.
Mm.
And so you associate your partner with newness. Because, we all know, and we probably are the person that when you listen to a song, you don't even listen to the whole song because you want to go hear another one. And so, when I'm listening to like a 90s rap album or something, a mix on Spotify, I'm like, oh, that start of this is so good. And then I want to hear the next because I'm not allowing myself to actually have the come down, which, if you think about short form content, really shapes us to do the exact same thing. Quick hit dopamine.
Mhm.
But when we learn how to be with the down, but then experience the up again, that novelty of driving a different place to work or a different way to work, that novelty of trying a different restaurant or going and getting a different coffee from a different place, it's not just that it creates now more capacity for difference, which translates to your life, but it also puts you in different places, which allows your life to become different. So we stay in these narrow boxes because anything outside of it is, but we can actually increase our flexibility and adaptability to change. And we also have to remember that there's a large component of belonging that's really important that really keeps people in these boxes, which is if my group that I surround myself with doesn't embrace adventure, maybe complains about their relationships all the time. They stay in ones they're not happy about. They stay in jobs they hate. And part of the way we connect is actually through complaining. Then, if all of a sudden I'm wanting to work on my mindset and frame it to see positive and optimism because we really can do that. The mind is by default framed to see the negative, and that's an adaptive strategy, of course, right?
Mhm.
Because if your family, clearly our family saw the tiger, right?
Right. Yeah, the
Right?
saber-tooth tiger's coming, let's run.
Right.
Yep.
So it makes sense that we would have a natural predisposition to look for threats. There's a Barbara Fredrickson is a researcher. She wrote a book called, I think it's called Positivity, but it's about what is the evolutionary benefit of positive emotion? Because of course we know the evolutionary benefit of negative emotion. And she calls it the broaden and build theory. So the idea is that if you and I are sharing positive things, we are more likely to be reciprocal to each other. So, like, it allowed tribes to expand their territories and share resources. It allows our vision to broaden. So, if I'm in a triggered state, like a nervous system activation, my vision narrows. My blood doesn't perfuse to my guts, it goes to my extremities. Now, remember, our bodies don't know the difference between a triggering email or a tiger. So, learning how to manage your nervous system is imperative to be able to manage your reactivity and your experience in the world. So, when I learn how to regulate and I learn how to experience positive engagement, I create gratitude practices. I start to really pay attention to the way my mind works and what I think about, that I now expand my ability to see possibility. There's a really interesting book called The Luck Factor. And there's an article called the same thing that's basically a summary of the book. And in it, the author talks about how he took unlucky people and studied them. And of course, if you're like, hey, unlucky person, I want to study you, they're like, oh my God, I can't wait for you to prove how unlucky I am. And then he studied lucky people. And then he taught unlucky people what lucky people did. And they became lucky. And the part of that really is about seeing the world differently, trying different things. You know, one guy said that at every party, he always found himself trying to talk to the most attractive woman.
Yeah.
And then he made a rule that he would talk to people wearing red shirts that night. And he said he found himself in so many conversations that he never would have been in. And when we start to, again, create that capacity for different, all of a sudden our life changes. And all of a sudden we also allow ourselves to actually move in the direction of what we truly desire, because most people have a desire for something, but they stay stuck in a life that isn't that. And we often feel shame about that, right? Like you were talking about, there's a
Mhm.
path I wanted to take and then I didn't take it. And then I might feel bad about not having taken it. But if we have compassion for the fact that we stay stuck, because there's a part of us that wants more, but there's a part of us that's terrified. So these two parts are in opposition.
I feel as though this is maybe a great irony of life. Like, right? We complain when things stay the same for too long, right? The grass is greener, a different job, a different relationship. But then when we actually have an opportunity to change and do something novel or new, then we're terrified. And then our nervous system kicks in and tries to warn us. So then we go back. So we're like constantly back and forth between, do I want change? Do I not want change? Do I like where I am? Do I not like where I am?
Yeah, it's almost like you're hitting the gas and the brake at the same time.
Yeah.
And so we have to learn how to take courageous leaps. You know, when someone has an underlying belief, moving into my own passion, becoming an entrepreneur is not safe, whatever it might be. The fastest way to change any belief is to do its opposite. But sometimes that can just like totally dysregulate. I think a lot of the conversation that we don't have, which I think is new to business, but it's not new to relationship
Mhm.
and more of the personal world, is the conversation about the nervous system, is the conversation about how do we, in a workplace especially, create a space where people actually feel psychologically safe, where people feel safe to take leaps, be courageous. One of my favorite quotes is from the movie Let's Build a Zoo,
Mm.
which I know that's probably a very random,
Yeah.
people are
Matt
never
Damon.
said before on this show,
Yeah.
is that everybody is capable of 10 seconds of absolute courage.
Do you know, I love that quote and I tell it to my kids.
Do you?
Yeah, like
Isn't
my
it so
6-year-old's
good?
like, "I don't wanna go to soccer practice," or like, "I don't wanna do this," or "I don't wanna do the presentation in front of the class." I'm
Yeah,
like, "All you need is 10 seconds." And
that's all you need.
it makes you feel like, "Oh, okay,
It's a
I
great
got 10
principle of
seconds."
life, right?
Yeah.
Like, who can't drum up 10 seconds to start a conversation, to really own a dream, to really start the podcast, to do the thing, anyone can. And you just have to do it over and over and over again. And you keep proving to yourself that you're capable of different, that you have permission to get more, to be more, to create more. I mean, I think about the job that I used to have. There was always a upper limit on my earning.
Mm.
You know, and the one thing about being an entrepreneur is really the upper limit on your earning is your market cap. So it's very different, although you will work probably differently and experience higher cortisol spikes at times. What is possible is always in your own hands. And I think that's can be terrifying at times, but it's also incredibly empowering to know that what you're doing is shifting people, shifting uh, businesses, relationships, whatever it might be that we do. And at the same time, it's like, is work really work when you love what you do?
I love that. And I think, I really want to get into how to apply this science of relationships and thinking to groups of people,
Hmm.
right? Into organizations, into business, into other people. But definitely stick around. Next episode, we're going to take this and apply it, even bigger. So in the meantime, if you want people to follow you or check out your stuff, where should they go?
All my romantic relationship stuff, you can find at createthelove.com or Create the Love on Instagram, business related stuff on LinkedIn under Mark Groves, and more personal, all my shares, motivation, all that kind of stuff at It's Mark Groves and markgroves.com.
Okay, fantastic. Stay tuned.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.